Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is a journal with me, and the footage you're seeing right now is from a live stream I did. By the time you're watching this, it might have been a couple of weeks ago, and I was kind of hesitant of posting this video, mainly because the live was very spontaneous. I was on my way home from work, and I posted on Instagram that I might do a live in an hour, and then I did, but I didn't have anything planned really. I already stuck down the washi tape and the girl that you see on the screen, and I didn't have any clue of what to write. But then I remembered I have some quotes on my phone that I want to write out. So that's what I'm doing. Basically, that's the only thing I'm doing. Or I'm also, like, after I'm done with this quote, I paste down a photo of BTS on the other side, not the green one, but the other side when I turn the page. So there's no cutting when it comes to the writing like I usually do, because it was a live stream and I wanted to keep it consistent. I have sped up this video like 4 times because it is 50-minute long, and in the future I hope, or I kind of want to post an entire live stream, but then I kind of have to figure out the music and stuff because I do listen to K-pop when I do these live streams. Okay, there will be a lot of flip throughs back and forth because people ask me questions, and then I answer them by showing my journal, I guess, if that makes sense. I think, yeah, later in the video, I'm showing some date stickers by Alice. I always talk about her. I love her. She's amazing, and I think by the time you're watching this video, it might not be April anymore, which is the date stickers that I'm showing there for April. But if she does do date stickers for May, I will leave it down below. But I will leave everything down below anyways. So since there's not much to talk about in this video, because all I'm doing is writing a quote and pasting down a photo, I thought I could talk about podcasts. So if you're not into podcasts or anything like that, you can mute this video and put on music. But I wanted to talk about podcasts that I'm listening to right now, and then do like a full video about all the podcasts I listen to that are finished, podcasts that I'm loving right now, etc. I can't believe I said that on video. Okay. So yeah, I used to use an app called Pocket Cast, and I really like that app. I really like the interface and everything, but then for some reason it just stopped downloading new episodes. It was kind of annoying, so I stopped using that app, and then I tried other apps. I tried to download the Pocket Cast again, and it worked for a little while, but then it stopped, which was very annoying. So then I remembered that Spotify had a podcast section. The only thing though is that not all the podcasts that I used to listen to are on Spotify. Wait, let me check. Yeah, they're not on Erase. Although, no, there's not. That's sad. But okay. But the main ones that I do really like are on here. So, like I said, I'm gonna do an entire video. But for now, I'm just gonna briefly talk about, talk about the podcast I do listen to. Now, I don't really have a favorite subject when it comes to podcasts, I listen to anything, fiction, non-fiction. There are more categories. Like storytelling is probably my favorite. Like podcast that has a plot that tells a story. And one of them is The Bright Sessions, which is written by Lauren Shippen, who is also a voice actor in this podcast. So far there are, or by the time you're watching this, it might have been, or there's probably way more episodes, but by April 4th, which is the date today, there's 50 episodes. And this is the last season, which is kind of sad because I really love all the characters in this podcast. The plot says therapy for the strange and unusual, and I kind of don't want to say anything else because that'll, or I guess like they have basically each episode, or the first episode at least, focuses on a therapy session, and the first episode is about a woman named Samantha Barnes, and she can time travel. And then there's another character named Caleb. He's an empath, basically meaning he can like he feels what other people feel. And then later in the season, I guess, there's another character named Chloe. She's a telepath. And then, shit happens, and it goes way beyond just the therapy sessions. I feel like this is a podcast everyone can listen to and enjoy, so please do check it out. Another storytelling podcast I really like is Welcome to Night Vale. I'm pretty sure anyone who really likes podcasts, they know about this one, even though they don't really necessarily like it themselves. Basically it is a podcast, like community update kind of, like radio show about a small desert town called Night Vale. And I don't know, so far there are 102 episodes, and I love it. I've seen them live actually, which is really good, really recommended. And again, shit happens, and you just have to listen to it yourself. But I really like it. Another storytelling I'm listening to right now is called Wolf 369. Basically, it's about people in space, and then stuff happens. It is finished, meaning it's done. There's no more episodes, and I'm almost done with this. There's 61 episodes, and about the time you're watching this, I'm probably already finished. But it's very good. The plotline says a radio show about the advantage of floating, tiny and alone in the middle of nowhere. Really good. Really recommending it. Okay, and then I have two like non-fiction podcasts. One of them is a true crime podcast called My Favorite Murder with Georgia Hotstock and Karen Calgariff. Basically, each episode they talk about their favorite murder. If you don't like true crime, don't listen to this because they really go into it. I will leave a link to all the podcasts and stuff down below, so don't worry about remembering all of this. The longest podcast with the most episodes is called The Pen Addict. Basically, that's the show. They talk about stationery, which I love. It is hosted by Brad Dowdy and Mike Hurley, and they just talk about stationery, pens, pencils, paper, ink, anything you can name. And they recently celebrated 300 episode, which is very cool. And yeah, that is the podcast that I'm listening to right now. I obviously have listened to other podcasts in the past, and then there are some podcasts that are not on here, like The Erasable. They also talk about stationery, but it's more like pencil related, not ink. I do have 2 podcasts saved, but I have not listened to it yet. One of them is called Within the Wires. It is also by the same people who did the Welcome to Night Vale. And let me see. What is this about? Stories told through found audio from an alternate universe. Doesn't really have that much explanation. And then the other one I'm listening to is called The Orbiting Human Circus of the Air. Again, I haven't really looked that much into it, but those are the podcasts I'm listening to. This video was very rambly, and I am so sorry, but I hope you guys liked it. And if you have any podcast suggestions, please leave it down below. I am open to anything. It doesn't have to be on Spotify. If it has like a website I can listen from, I'm down. That's how I listen to most of these podcasts sometimes. But I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. Even though I didn't really talk about what I did on the page, but it was self-explanatory, hopefully. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a good day, good evening, good night, wherever you are. And I'll talk to you soon. I always mess up this outro. Anyways, bye.